Welcome to Rise and Shine Daily Business Tech Boost with me, Charlie Latham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing and tracking, and break them down into bite-sized tips you can use right away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder. Rise and Shine is your daily dose of business tech inspiration with me, Charlie Latham. Episode number 448 today. More on WordPress. There's so much to do on WordPress, and I'm not going to try and sort of do everything that I can in like one series. I will promise you I'll get onto something else shortly, but there are some basics that I want to go through with WordPress that will help you as a business owner who wants to manage their own tech and do their own blogging or do their own, do the edits on your website. And hopefully this will help you make it easier. I am using vanilla WordPress in these demonstrations. I'm not showing you how to use page builders. I just want to try and keep it simple to give you an idea of the real basics of where we start, because everything that we do after this, a lot of it just comes back to what we learn here today in these videos. Today, I want to talk about pages and the various options that you have when you're editing a page on WordPress. I am using the block editor to do this. If you're using something that is a little older, if you're using an older WordPress version and someone has installed the standard editor, legacy editor, I think it's called, you may have some different options. And I'm going to encourage you to speak to your developers if you've got developers who have done that to you. Classic editor, that's what it's called, and have installed the classic editor, to actually start moving you across to the block editor. I think it is time. Block editor has been around for a couple of years now. It's nice and stable. There's a lot of support for it, and there's actually a lot of flexibility in the block editor that we just can't get with the classic editor. Okay, that's my rant done. Let's talk about pages. What is a page for WordPress? Why do you use it? And then I'll go through how we edit it and some of the things that you should think about as you're creating and editing pages. A page in WordPress, so you have two standard ways of displaying content on your WordPress website. You have a page and you have a post. They both kind of look the same when you get down to it. When you look at each one, you're like, I don't know if that's a page, I don't know if it's a post. It's a problem. For someone like me, it's a problem. Like, do I need to go to the pages menu, or do I need to go to the post menu to find this? The difference is, notwithstanding how they're displayed on the front end of the site, they actually do different things in the back end of the site. A page is typically used to display static content that never changes, content that you always need to have available to people. So a page might be an About Me page. A page might be your contact page. You see how we use page in that? It might be legal information, but it is information that once edited and up there, it doesn't really change. It's not time critical information. That's probably another way of putting it as well. It is evergreen content that just is always the same on your site. It's the stuff that people will go and look for as standard. That's where you would use a page. I will go through when you would use posts in another video. I just want to focus on pages today. So let's get to it. Let me go to my website here. It's the same one we've been using for the last few demos. So there's a few pages already created on it. And let's have a look at what we need to consider and what you can do, what the settings are for your pages. So let's move across to that now. Okay, so here's my trusty demo site, and I'm on my dashboard, and you will notice that I've got a pages menu here. And if we click on pages, I've got 4 pages configured already, set up already. There's nothing on these pages. They're just blank pages, but they're there. And we're going to go in and just edit one and have a look at it. So to create a new page, we click on add a new page. So let's do that to begin with. Let's create a new page to begin with. You add a new page. I'm running 2025 theme, so it's just the standard theme that comes with WordPress, and you'll notice that it asks you to choose a pattern. Now, you don't need to choose a pattern, but you can choose a pattern, and one of the benefits of this is why I'm saying you should be going to your block editor, you should be going to the newer functions within WordPress, because you can choose different layouts to put on your page. I'm not going to do these today. These will be the topic of another video. All I want to do is go through the basics of a page. We start with good foundations and then we build on top of them. When you come into a basic page, this is what it looks like. Basic page editor, this is what it looks like. You'll see at the top here, it says add a title, then it says choose a block. So we're just going to add a title, which is new page today. Okay, maybe it's about me, maybe it's maybe it's the contact page. One of the things you should do when you're choosing your title is try to make your title search engine friendly. So again, it's not saying I want to delve into very heavily today, but have a think about the questions that your page answers and put that in the title of your page. So I'm just going to call this new page today. No, I'm not doing any SEO friendly stuff on this. I just want to get some stuff out here. And now it says type or choose a block. So I can just click in here and just say the quick brown fox. Fox, that's good, Charlie. Jumps over the lazy dog's back. Okay, so I've got some text here. If I click down, I can choose a block to put in here. You've got a whole heap of options. If these are your standards, you can choose a paragraph. That's what we've just typed here. That's a paragraph. Image, you can put a heading. You can put a gallery of images. You can put a list, which is like a bulleted list or a numbered list. You can put a pull quote. You've also, if you click on the browse item, you've got a whole heap of other options that you can use here too. I'm not going to go into them. Maybe at some point we will do some more on it, but you can see all of the options that you've got with the block editor. It's another reason why I'm suggesting that you should be moving, if you're not using a page builder, you should be moving to using the block editor. You've got so much functionality there. This is all we're doing today on this one. What we want to have a look at, I'm not going to go, it's the right hand side here. You've got two options on the right hand side. You've got the block option, which is currently selected, or you've got the page option. Now if I select my paragraph block here, we've got block selected, and that gives us the options for the block. Again, I'm not going to touch this. What I want to do is save this page as a draft page. So up the top here, you've got the options to save or publish. While you're working on it, just click save as draft so that you keep your changes. Be sure to follow the good rule of save and save often, so that if something goes wrong, you don't lose a half hour or 15 minutes of editing. You might only lose 2 or 3 minutes or 5 minutes of editing. Once you've done that and you're ready to publish, there's a few things you should do before you hit the publish button. Click on the page button here. And this will give you the options for the page, not the block that you're in, but the page, the whole page. You can set a featured image for the page. With WordPress in general, featured images for pages aren't displayed as standard. However, you might be able to create functionality that does use a featured image. Some of my designs, you have like a beautiful background behind where we put our title here, and that uses the featured image. That's just an example. So you may or may not want to set a featured image, but you can set a featured image. You'll notice that our status here is draft. We've got the option that it's asking us when we want to publish. It says immediately. It gives us the link for the page. I'm going to go through all of these shortly. We can change the author. There's a template that it's using. What is the discussion? So are we allowing comments or not? And what is the parent of the page? Let's go through these from the top down. So the status of the page is draft because we just saved it as draft. If you come across the right-hand side and you click on it, you've got options here that you can do. You can set it to pending, meaning that it's pending review. So if you set it to pending, an editor, someone who's got editor abilities can come in, look at what's set to pending, and then go and review it and decide whether it's ready to publish or give you feedback on it. You can set it to private, which means that it's published, but it's only visible to site admins and editors when it is published. This is typically used if you want to have a private site. It doesn't get used all that often. I have actually used private when we're looking at creating a new page, and I just need people to be able to get in and have a look at it and not do any editing. We want them to see what it looks like on the front end and give feedback on it. Scheduled, this is actually pretty important. If you are like me and you tend to do work in bulk, so I might write 5 or 6 articles at a time, or I might create 5 or 6 pages at a time, but I don't want all of those pages to go live all at once. I want one to go live today, one to go live tomorrow, one to go live the next day. You can choose scheduled. If you choose scheduled, it will ask you to set a date and a time, and that date and the time is the date and time it will go live for you. It won't go live immediately when you hit the publish button. It will sit as pending, scheduled, and when that date and time turns up, it will go live. There is a little trick with the scheduled option, and that is that it may miss the scheduled date if you don't have enough traffic to the site, because the way the scheduler works on a standard WordPress site is that scheduler will run when someone comes to visit, when someone visits the front end of the site. So just bear that in mind. The other option you have is published. Now this published means it will go live immediately. So you can set it to published and it will go immediately. And when you click publish, it will go through. Let's leave it as draft. The publish is set to immediately. This is the same option as here under status, setting it to scheduled. You can set this to draft. You can then also come in here and say, actually, we want this to go live on the 10th of April at 10 a.m. Okay, and you'll see here it says publish April 10, 10 a.m. And you'll notice that up the top here, our option has changed to schedule. So it's not going to publish it, it's going to schedule it. So if you didn't want to go in here and use the scheduled option, see here when I come down to scheduled now, it's picked it up because we've changed it. If you didn't want to do it that way, you could just set, I changed it because I deleted it. Silly girl. There we go, 10th of April at 10 a.m. There we go. So we can set it to schedule and it changes our button, our publish button, to schedule at the top here. Link is interesting. If you've got a really long page name, like if I go in A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Okay, now if I come over here to our link and I click on that, look at the link name it gives me. It gives me new page today, blah, 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 blah. That we may not want that. What we can do is click in this link option and shorten the page link, so you can make it something more friendly. You can still have a really long title, but you can make the slug or the link for the page more search engine friendly, more user friendly, and edit it that way. Author, now if you have people who are editing for you, and they've got their own logins, you can actually, I've only got one user on this site. But if you've got multiple users on the site, you can be editing something and you can assign that author as another editor or contributor, editor, or author to the site. They're the roles that you can assign that to. Template. Now this depends on the theme you are running. If I click here, uh, you've got some options. You can edit the template, you can swap the template, you can create a new template, or you can show the template. If I click on swap template, we've only got one page template configured on this site. Some sites will give you multiple templates that you can use. It depends on the theme that you're using as to whether what that template does. You can create a new template from here because 2025, the theme 2025 uses full site editing. This functionality is available to you. This functionality may not be available to you depending on what theme you're running on your site. Just bear that in mind. Discussion. If you've been watching the podcast for a bit, you'll know the other day I spoke about turning comments off site-wide and how to do it on individual pages. This is where on this page, if you wanted to open up comments so people could comment on the page for you, you could click on open. Once you click on it, you can change it from closed or open. I generally recommend, unless you really are desperate to get comments, I leave comments closed because it stops spam bots hitting your site and causing you grief. And under parent, you can select an existing page to make this a child page of. This This may affect the navigation menus or it may not affect the navigation menus. The reason I sometimes like to use parent pages, particularly when you've got configurable menus that you can change where things appear in the menus. The reason I like to use parents is because then it organizes my content in the menu system of in the pages display, and I can say, oh, that's all the stuff that goes under the page under about us. This is the podcast that we write. This is our media appearances. This is so I can look at it and say, yep, that's all stuff that's related to this. It's just a visual way of me organizing information that may or may not work for you. They are the options that you have as standard on a standard WordPress website for a page. If you have different plugins installed, you may have more options appearing here, but I'm just doing vanilla WordPress to start with. We'll get into options with different plugins later, but these are the standard options you have. That's what they mean. The most important things to remember are your status, and if you want to schedule it, when you schedule it, and what your link is. These three options here are the most important things to consider in all of this. Again, at the top here, at the right-hand side, we've got a few options available to us. We can save it as a draft, so we're not ready to schedule it yet because we haven't finished editing, haven't got our images ready, we haven't finished writing and done our spell checks and all of those things. So save and save often. Make sure that save draft says saved, and every now and again you just go up and click save. Don't leave it to chance that your browser's going to crash or your internet connection is going to crash and you're going to lose your edits. You have the ability to preview the page. Now you'll see here we've got this looks like a desktop, I guess. If I click on it, we can preview this as a desktop. That's what it will look like as a desktop display. Close some windows down here. There we go. I click on it again, I can see what it's going to look like on a tablet. And you'll see, actually, if you do that, you can actually edit this for the tablet as well and make your changes so that when you're laying it out on a tablet, it looks good. If you choose a mobile, it will give you what it looks like on a mobile while you're editing it. This is really cool stuff. And then you can also go and preview it as a mobile. Oh no, you can't preview it as a mobile. Okay. This is the edit. I thought we could. So these is how it looks when you edit things. You can choose desktop, tablet, or mobile display. And you can see how it looks and lays out as you're doing your edits. Really powerful stuff. I don't know why you would want to zoom out, to be perfectly honest. I guess it gives you a different view, a page view. I prefer to work in this editor, but you can zoom the page out. I'm not going to cover the settings here. I've done it in previous videos, but we're not going to cover the settings here. And under options, remember what I said about options. We do have some options here, but we're not going to go, oh, sorry, we are going to go through a couple of them. You can do top toolbar, access all blocks in a single place through the top toolbar that's up here. Distraction free, you can write with calmness. So if I click on distraction free, sorry, you'll see if I turn distraction free off, I've got all my menus, I've got all this stuff around. If I turn it on, all we have, get rid of that, all we have is the editor. There's nothing here to distract us. Now, how did we turn that off again? I wasn't paying attention. That's okay. Don't have to worry about it too much. To find it again, if you just mouse up over the top, you get your menu back, and you can just come down here. It says here it's Control Shift, oh, backslash. I was hitting the wrong slash. I'm going to turn it back off so I get my menus. I actually like to have the menus available. Not everyone does, and that's why they've given us the option. We've turned spotlight mode. I turned spotlight mode on by mistake just then, so I've turned it off. You'll notice that with spotlight mode off, I've got all the blocks show up. Everything shows up. It's all active and there. If I go back to here and turn spotlight mode on, you'll see that it fades out everything that we're not working on. So you can tell exactly which block you are working on the page. That's a really nice function. You can set it to full screen mode, so show and hide the admin user interface. I'm not going to do that. And that is all I'm going to show you on this, because everything else here is just a distraction, and all I want is to give you the really basics of using a page and creating a page on your WordPress website. When you're ready to go, once you've set your schedule date, or if you want to go live immediately. Now let's say I've changed my mind. I've taken so long to edit this page that the day has come that I need to have this live, and I've still got it scheduled. I can click on the scheduled or the publish button here, and you'll see up in the top right hand corner you've got the ability to set it to now. We'll set it to now, and when I do, it changes our button to publish. When you're ready to go, when you're ready for this to be seen by the public, and make sure you've spell checked it, make sure you've read your content 4 or 5 times, get someone else to read your content, because they will see things that you miss. You can click publish, and when you click publish, that will be made available to the public. Okay, I'm going to click on save. I'm going to go back to our pages menu, and there are all our pages. Now, if I want to go in and edit an existing page, I just click on the existing page, and I can make my changes here. Now, they're really, see here on discussion, it's only open to pings only. I'm just going to change that, and oh, that will be something that we cover next time. Pings only, and work it out. Here's the thing that didn't show on the draft page because we weren't ready for it. You'll see we have revisions, and we've got 3 revisions of this page. I'm going to click on that. That takes us to this view, and this shows us that we've got the current revision by which author and when that revision was created. So it was a week ago on the 23rd of March. That's the current revision. It shows you down here what was added or what was removed. Green means it was added. Everything else, there are no other changes on this page. This isn't going to mean a lot to you, but what it does mean is that if you make an edit on a page and you manage to delete something and you need to get it back, you can come into the revisions and you can, using the slider bar at the top here, you can click and it tells you, so it says 3. So there's one, that's the first revision, that's the second revision, that's the third revision. You'll see that I created this page on the 20 different times. I've created it on the same date. It tells you on this page that we removed an empty block and we added in extra content here. If I go to the next revision, I removed that section and we haven't added anything else. And if I go to the current revision, it tells you that I've added a new block at the top. So you can go to your revisions to have a look and see what the differences are. You can compare any two revisions. So if you click on that, you can compare the current version from the original version. And that will show you all of the changes from the time that will show you the changes from the original version of the page to the version that is out there now. So you can do a compare. Again, I find this really confusing. I tend to just restore the revision. So if I just say I want to restore this version, I choose the version that I want to restore. I click restore this revision. That shows me the page. I must have distraction free spotlight mode on. Let's turn spotlight mode off. There we go. So this is the version. I can look at it, I can preview it, I can check it out, and I can go, oh no, I don't want to go back to that version. I actually want to go back to the one that I had. Now you'll see revisions has been increased to 4. It was 3, it's now 4. If I go back to 4, the revisions, I can go back to today's version as long as I know what date and time it was, and say restore that revision. We're now up to 5. And it's, let me just refresh that page. That's an image and something's gone wrong. I'm not going to worry about it tonight, but that's how you can restore and compare your versions. Revisioning is really, really handy to have. There are plugins that will allow you to limit the number of revisions that are kept. I've gone to sites that have had 30 or 40 revisions on a page. They all take up room in the database. Be very careful of it. There are plugins we can install that limit that, but having your revisions on is so important for being able to edit and go back. So that's one of the other functions within Pages. Okay, guys. Pages for a WordPress website, they're there for static content, evergreen content that is basically people go to look for on a regular basis. That's the thing to think about. You've got the options with Pages to set featured images, to schedule when you have them go live. You can make them private. You can save them as draft. You can mark them for revision so someone else can come in and have a look at it before you send them live. You've got a lot of options there. Really basic. Hopefully it was a basic enough tutorial for you on why you would want to use a page and the things that you can do with Pages. If it's been of use to you, if this tutorial's been of use to you, please hit the like button. That would be great. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you find out when I drop more content. If you have questions or comments, you can leave them wherever you are watching or listening to this video. You can, of course, come across to my locals community designed for business owners to get a handle on their tech and to make life easier for yourselves. That's askcharlylatham.locals.com. I would love to have you as part of that community. Apart from that, have a fantastic day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye. Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlylatham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.